talk about. Remember where these are.
Okay, trustees, we are live. We are recording. Phone lines are opened. Go for it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome you to the regular meeting of the East Hampton Town Trustees for October 27th, 2025. I'd like to open with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, to the public which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Arlene, can you do roll call, please?
Certainly. So, John Aldrin.
Here.
Francis Bob.
Here.
David Catalano.
Here.
Patrice Dalton.
Here,
Beth Dollinger. Jim Grimes. Celia Josephson.
here.
Tim Garnell.
Here.
And Bill Taylor. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt, do we have anybody on the phone lines for public comment?
Please stand by. And this is Matt Chapman calling from LTV, making sure all lines are open and clear, in which they are, and you have 0 additional callers. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we have a surprise visit tonight from our attorney, Chris Carrillo. So great to see you, Chris.
Welcome back, Chris. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. I don't have much to say, except just want to come in and say hello to everybody, and great to be back and be seen again by the trustees. And it's been a long summer for myself and my family. For those who don't know, whether they're live or on TV, it was an open heart surgery back in July stemming from a blood infection that got in my heart. So it was a really challenging year for myself and my family, but we're feeling a lot better and getting back into the office, and look forward to joining the trustees again very soon. So thanks for having me back, and great to see everybody, and be back here soon. Thank you.
Really looking forward to it, Chris.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll be in touch.
Okay.
And see some of you on Wednesday as well.
All right.
Thank you.
Great. Looks like a brief meeting tonight. No new business. Old business, we have Clearwater Beach Property Owners Association, a request for a multi-year dredging permit. Oh, Jim's got that? Okay.
He's the one who's in contact with them.
All right. I have no reason to believe he won't be here. Committee reports, Georgica and Ponds Committee, the Georgica Pond Dredge Project bid results. Is he there for that too?
He was there for the opening of the bid, and I guess he's got the information.
It was awarded. It was also the only bid.
Here he comes.
Somebody, can somebody? Tim, you're in the door. Can you let us?
Hey,
Hey, Jim.
Something going on in Amagansett. Main Street stuff.
So we're on the Georgia bid.
No. It was 951 on the main, 251 on the other.
Okay, so were there any other bids?
No, this was a sole bid.
Okay. You want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the bids as stated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so we'll be opening a pond this year.
Full dredging.
Dredging, I'm sorry.
Opening will be coming a little late, a little before.
All right, and we started off with Clearwater Beach Property Owners Association request for a multi-year dredging permit.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. I think you guys talked about it in a meeting that I wasn't here. And I mean, they asked for a tenure to align with their, what they have now with town and DC. I had spoken to Ken Neary and said, I think 5 for us, given the fact that there's a certain attrition to our board, that I think we want to keep these permits where a number of board members would basically be spanning in that.
Is this the one that they have 2 more years on a permit or something?
Yeah, I think it wasn't 10 years left on the permit or something like that. It was only 5 years or something like
8
that.
years. I thought it was 8 years.
8 years, 6, you're right,
left.
8
So
years
could we
left.
give them a 4?
We could do
4
that,
year?
yeah, do 4 and 4, sure.
And then the next board can align.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's revenue neutral to us. It's the same amount fees.
Well, we charge for the sand coming out.
Okay.
Revenue positive. So I'll make a motion that we grant the Clearwater Beach Association.
I'll second it.
Second.
permit.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Next, we want to consider kayak storage at Duke Drive. John?
Yeah, I just, a couple of pictures, I hope.
Has there been requests for it, John?
No, I was down there looking at a dock earlier in the week, and I walked down the access path where Duke Drive curves into, I forget what the other road is called. And then I walked to the right to the dock, and I know there's a lot of kayaks, boats, paddle boards, general stuff strewn about, which I have pictures of, but I can't seem to find them.
Is that the same picture that we saw by the stairs?
I don't think there's any steps there.
Of their rack?
There's no rack. They're just strewn about. So, I mean, originally, the purpose of putting kayak racks out was to alleviate the issue of people just pulling them up randomly in concentrated areas. It started at Louse Point, Girard Drive,
Vegetation.
keeping out of the vegetation. The same thing, we noticed the same thing happening at Mile Hill Road a few years ago, and that triggered putting kayak racks there. So I just was wondering if it might be something the board would be interested in considering.
Did they approach you with a proposal about this, or how did this, was the genesis of this proposal?
I went to look at a dock and I noticed the
So it
kayaks
was
strewn on
you
the
generated
beach.
it, okay.
I'm generating the question, yes.
So would they have any
Who's they?
comments about this? If-
Is this on a public beach or is this private?
This is on the beach.
It's on 3 Mile Harbor.
Is that
On 3 Mile Harbor.
on our beach?
Looks like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bluff to a beach, Spartina as it gets closer to the water.
Yeah.
One of those Springy Banks kind of scenarios. It's north of
We
Springy
have a
Banks,
dock
but
right
it's
next
similar.
door that we.
I'll give you some input.
A couple things.
They have one dock.
First of all conveyances the trustees made in inner harbors went to the water, went to the harbor. So you don't own beach within the harbors because you always granted to the water, which is to the high water line. Secondly, because I saw this in the agenda, so I looked into it.
To the high water mark.
High water. Okay, so mainly the upland property owner owns the mean high water mark. You own below the mean high water mark because you own the bottom of these harbors, whether it's, Three Harbor, Nappy Harbor, whatever. This particular strip of land is interesting because this was a reserved area in the subdivision map of West Harbor, 1959. Paul Bianco was the developer. In those days, the planning board was not really careful about what happened to the reserve area. All right? Much later on, and today, the town would require the developer of the subdivision as an option. You create a homeowners association to own and manage the reserved area. You can dedicate it to the town, or you can dedicate it to a private non-for-profit, the Nature Conservancy of Peconic Land Trust if they're interested. Most people dedicate it to the town. In this case, the subdivision map had the following notation. So at the end of Duke Drive, where the road would appear to go straight down to the harbor, that's actually, it's about the width of a lot, waterfront lot in the subdivision, but it's not a lot. It was a reserved area, and it was labeled reserved for property owners and 10-foot drainage easement. So I don't know what the drainage easement is all about, but it says reserved for property owners, but they never formed a property owners association. So I looked this up on the GIS. It comes up with the name of Mildred Bianco as the owner. So I believe she was the wife of Paul Bianco, who was the developer. They probably never conveyed, they never did anything probably since the subdivision map was filed. And I have no idea, this is 1959, I'm kind of guessing that that person's not alive, guessing. So it's an interesting thing, it might be something, and so it's basically limbo, or the property is in limbo. Maybe it's something you might want to try to get your hands on, that you can figure out who the heck is the heir to the family, the Bianco family. They can't do anything with the property. It's not developable. Maybe it's a way that you can get title to it. Then you would own the upland down to the mean high water mark.
So,
Sounds like a really good project for our council.
No, I believe they made
Title
a
company,
house
yes,
adjacent to that property, and they use it as a year-round rental.
What's that?
I believe their house, they own the house, I believe, adjacent to that lot,
On the north or south?
beyond the north. And I believe it's used as a year-round rental property.
But the road right-of-way, which is the sort of the continuation of Duke Drive,
Right.
that's obviously undeveloped. I believe that, I haven't been down there for a long time. There's a pathway down to the water,
yeah,
right?
well, there's a driveway to the house to the south on.
It takes
part
off
of
of it, I think. Yes, I think that's right.
So, I forget what I was gonna ask you.
This isn't on the old Boys Harbor property that the
No, it's
town owned?
before that.
No, this is to the south.
It's south of Boys Harbor. I had some dealings with this when I worked for Natural Resources in like 1987 or 8. And the assumption then was it's public access. The public can use it to access the harbor. I know they do. I know people that do. Francis mentioned this. He thought it had something to do with the property owners around.
Well, I know that the
too.
deeds show access to each.
That would tend to
The deed
indicate
on the
that it's
re-
private.
What deed, on the reserve area?
Yeah, when you buy a property there, I know this because my mother-in-law owned a house there for a while. And she had deeded access to the harbor.
Oh, so the deeds to the people who bought lots in the subdivision map. That makes sense, because as I said, the map is labeled for use of the property owners. So yes, I certainly think the property owners in the subdivision have the right to use that for access to the Three Harbor.
But wouldn't that tend to indicate that it's private? in the sense.
Yes, that's
You
the
know,
problem,
so-
is that it would appear to be private, but
Regardless of who can use that access, there are people, multiple people, leaving kayaks on the vegetation and on the beach there. And to that point, my understanding is that this board has taken the position that we have jurisdiction to the high tide mark based on vegetation. And I believe this would include our jurisdiction and would basically go to about the toe of the bluff, which includes that stretch of beach and Spartina vegetation. So that those boats left there are being left on,
well, presumably they're above the high tide line, right? I mean, otherwise they'd be going afloat at high tide.
Yeah, but, there has to be some definition of the high tide
But
line.
I don't think
You know, and
vegetation is the
usually
right way to go
It's
about
done
it.
by vegetation, by the town, DC, I'm assuming. I know surveyors basically consider the 1 foot elevation the high tide line. Some seem to consider the 0.7 elevation the high tide line. I don't know what to.
Well, that's that famous case, the one I had actually looked up in Southampton. What was the name? Was it Alpha Lane Associates, I think, against Southampton? But I haven't delved further into it to see, what that. But there was a case in Southampton in the early 1970s where the judge tried to define, it really had to do with the marshes on the bay side, on the Shinnecock Bay side of this property. So it's a little bit different from on the ocean beach or a bay beach. But I could look more deeply into that and see where the case law is today.
That whole thing gets incredibly complicated because the high water mark is basically an elevation. And it's something that can change on the beach from day to day. It's reset every 18 and a half years by the Supreme Court, I believe, because they take the lunar cycle, cycle. So it's someplace that if you want to pinpoint that you're looking at a lot of work.
I mean, as sort of a solution to the problem, I'm just going to assume that these kayaks are owned by members of the community down there.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so is there an association down there of any kind? There's not. Well, I don't know who you would contact and ask them to please perhaps construct a kayak rack for the people of their community so that we're not killing the Spartina and damaging the bluff.
That's what we do at Last Point. We ask them not to put any craft on the vegetation.
Yeah. But I don't know who we direct that inquiry to.
Yeah, I don't, as I said, this property is not owned by a homeowners association. I'm sure the developer never formed one. So that becomes the question, who's in charge? Who do you
But if that access is deeded to everybody that bought property,
We could do a search, a title search and get the information.
I'm guessing the title search is going to come back as the owner is Mildred Bianco.
Well, is the house next door Millie? Because she could have been a pretty spry person. She might still be around now. Or the heirs of Millie.
Heirs, perhaps.
I could probably find out.
Contact them
I know the town.
and
But what I'm suggesting is maybe you want to try to buy that strip of land.
Yeah.
Then you would have title.
we could.
Well, maybe inquiry to the planning department or something like, there might have been some kind of a adjudication of that strip
We
of
could
land.
suggest the land acquisition, Wilson look into it. find out if it's a property that the town
Is it
might
something that could be bought through the CPF funds?
want. Yeah.
Sure, it's
Oh,
vacant.
Okay.
But then the trustees won't own it.
Well,
True.
it's-
Yeah, see,
What I'm
Rick was,
thinking is it may
Rick
not be
was-
that expensive.
Rick
That's what
was
I'm
trying to
thinking.
make the pitch for our board, which I think is, I think we should reach out to whomever the owner
Yeah.
is.
I don't know, well,
Yeah,
there's
if
a- I
we,
mean, there's a drainage portion to this strip, right?
There's
It's an
drainage.
I don't know what
Drainage
that
easement.
means. I don't know if there's
Drainage.
storm drains going into there.
No, the
and pipes,
drainage
or-
easement was either for a culvert or an anticipated culvert, or
Yeah,
the
nothing
possible
happened.
future of a culvert going through the area that they secured an easement. That if they-
Remember,
that
this is
if-
1959. I think the plan was to drain the water from the road into Three Mile Harbor.
Yeah.
And which is what it's doing.
It's in less than lightning time.
It's just an overgrown lot. There's nothing more there
With a
except for,
driveway on
yeah.
it, with a driveway.
Does water run down the driveway?
No, the driveway curves
Into
and
the house.
goes up to the south.
But I mean, there's the road that goes down to the beach. Is that water runoff going down that road?
Yeah, it goes right
Yeah,
to
it
it,
pitches down,
straight at it. But
but it's a, it's not paved or anything.
Yeah, but water coming off the paved road flows into Three Mile Harbor.
Right, and it's
Unless there's a
downhill.
drainage basin in the road, in the paved road.
For what reason is it not like, would, if it was an air, could they try and build on it?
No,
No.
no, it's already been encumbered
So it's already
as more or
encumbered.
less reserve area. But it's just a matter of who manages it, who insures it.
I'll leave it alone.
Yeah, well,
It doesn't
and that
sound like,
might be,
doesn't sound like. we
that
have anything-
honestly, if we reach out to the heirs, the present owners, that could be part of a pitch that, presently, if something happens to somebody who goes through this property, it allows public access. Public's been using it for enough time that you could probably apply for a prescriptive easement at the very least. That if it was in public ownership, it would help perhaps the community. They'd still have the same uses. We would install kayak rack like we have other places. And they would have some buffer part of any.
So if you want to explore that, the thing to do would be to have a title report to conclude. I mean, I'm going to the Suffolk County JS, but that's not as definitive as a title company doing a title report. So you'd order a title report to find out who owns that piece of land and what, if any, encumbrances are there of record.
We're looking at dollars wise on that. What do you think?
Not much. I mean, usually title reports are targeted around what you're paying for it. We're not doing that here.
There it is.
$1,000 or $2,000, I would
Figured it out.
I'd like to make a motion that we
Looks like they cleared it.
look for a title report on this.
No, that's the beach.
No, that's just the
Oh, that's
beach vegetation there.
is that the access there? Where's the?
Yeah, the access is, that to the right. You see where the shells are going, kind of through the vegetation there.
Looks like there'd be room for a rack right up near that blue board. High enough out.
Yeah,
It looks pretty
I
nice.
mean, I don't know.
So anyway,
Whether we put our own rack there and charge like we do everywhere else, or whether we tried to find out, who's responsible for all these things and get them to put their own rack there, I don't know. I mean, I was just following with our procedures as we've, developed them over the years for.
If you were to acquire the property, probably lot owners in, what's it called, West Harbor, I think it's, probably people in West Harbor, they would probably have pre-existing rights. So in other words, you may not be able, you could tell them, we want you to use the rack, but you might have to treat them differently than the public at large. In other words, if you charge the public, they might say, hey, we got a right to use this to begin with.
Well, I don't think this portion of beach right here is on that access strip. I think this is in front of the property to the south. The access strip, I think, ends kind of where the first boat is, the red boat or something, around there, or maybe even farther to the north than that.
So is this,
This isn't directly
Just so you know
at
that
the
this-
bottom of the access strip. This is to the south of the access strip.
But just so you know, the parcel at the end of Duke Drive that I'm talking about is 100 feet in width, 100 feet wide.
Right, and I believe this is beyond, 50 feet from the center of that strip.
But where, I thought you said is this coming down from Duke Drive here?
Well, you walk down and then you walk south where you first put your finger.
Well, here's Duke
you
Drive is up there, right?
Right.
So you're in a narrow path, but there's a width of land here.
Which I don't believe is,
It's 100 feet wide.
I don't believe that's where what we're looking is part of the access strip. I think it's south of the access strip.
I assume,
It may not, maybe not, but, where you walk down is fairly wide. I don't know if it's 100 feet, but it's like it's more than 50 feet for sure. And then you walk to the south through that path, and then you come to this. So I think you've walked off the access strip onto this area of beach.
so where is the harbor? Behind you?
You're in the harbor now. You're in the harbor. See the Spartina there on the,
yeah. It doesn't look wet. It's a wet area?
No, that's Spartina Payton's. That only gets flooded on occasional
Oh, okay.
tides. I have a motion on the floor. Do we have enough interest in this to find out who the true owners are? Post that, do we want to reach out and inquire about the possibility of purchase or how that property can be managed by the present owners?
I second that.
Okay. So I think the discussion's nice, but I think we've taken it as far as we can without having more information.
where is this responsibility going to be placed? That's what I'd like to know,
What responsibility?
of fulfilling this motion.
Just getting
Right
a title,
Rick
getting a title report,
contacted title insurance or title
Yeah,
company.
I'll find out
They'll
what the
do-
cost will be. I will,
They'll do a title search. We'll have we'll have some better information as to who the owners
Yeah.
and whether there's any encumbrances that Rick hasn't picked up on this thing. And then we can probably make a more educated decision as to how and if we move forward
Yeah.
with it.
I agree, because I think the missing person at the table is the owner.
Yeah, it could be multiple owners,
Could be.
multiple people with rights. Yeah, it's tight. I think the motion is limited to just acquiring the title report.
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
property.
we got a liability here of a couple $1,000.
It's like the house next door has been raised.
Whatever. We got a second on the motion. Do we want to vote on this?
There's a house there.
So just an authorization to do the title report.
Just an
So that's what I
authorization.
seconded.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's two
I
houses. That was one.
agree.
Okay, Francis is the clerk. Can we do
There's a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone
all
opposed?
right, I will find out the cost of the report first, and I'll distribute that before I order anything.
Yeah, we're assuming it's gonna be like $2,000.
Yeah, listen, we'll find out and, listen, we could spend $2,000 for this to very much go almost nowhere, at least. It's not gonna linger.
Okay. Matt, do we have anybody on the phone lines?
You have 0 callers. Thank you.
Anybody have anything else they want to discuss?
Yeah, a couple of things.
Okay.
So I just want to give the board a heads up that at the next meeting, I want to put on the agenda the McGinn dock. And for new board members, McGinn dock was approved by the new dock was approved. John McGinn. I think his name is John McGinn. John.
Yes, it
Is
is.
that on Harbor Boulevard?
3 Mile Harbor.
Yeah, okay.
I believe in 2022. On the board.
2020.
Yeah.
And the ZBA, when he went for the natural resource special permit, the ZBA rejected it and he sued the one in court and the town appealed, and he won the appeal just this past week or last week. So we approved a certain plan and size dock, and that slightly changed after all the things that transpired. So we'll need to modify our permit.
I might have to recuse myself because I now work with Rick, who handled the appeal.
I mean, I'm still
Is there a-
discussing, I know when Chris comes back. But just for the record, the other client of ours, so I would have to recuse as your counsel.
I would have to recuse because I work with Jim.
John, is there any documentation?
There's a file in the office. If anybody wants to really
Yeah.
delve into it, they can check the file, but do it quickly because files are being packed away because of the
Yeah.
move that's necessary, and that maybe in the container in a few days.
Yeah, so if you guys can do that by the end of the week, if you need to review them, that would be the best bet.
By the end of the week.
But
Would it be filed with 3 Mile Harbor docs or just, well,
Yeah, we can
I
show
think,
you where
I
it is.
think it has its own file, I believe.
okay.
Are there any changes to the dock? Are there any changes?
Basically, the first portion, which is there's a fixed walkway, a ramp, and a floating section. The fixed walkway is going from 40 feet, which we approved 40 feet originally, and it's going to 30.6
Yeah,
feet, I
I
believe.
mean, there's no
So it's
major,
not a
No,
substantial
it's not a
change.
there's no major change to what we already
And
approved.
I want to point out, they've been renewing that permit.
Right.
So the permit is in place
Well,
right
that's-
now.
They're requesting a renewal, so we
Yeah.
should renew with the new plan.
And I would recommend that we renew with the new plan.
So that'll come up at the next meeting. I just wondered if anybody wants to review the file and delve into it. And then we received a letter from the DEC asking about if the town or the trustees were interested in considering any areas closed to shellfishing to be considered for their conditional shellfishing program, which basically opens closed areas in the winter after a lot of testing and only under certain rainfall conditions. We haven't done this for a few years. There's no area that I can think of in trustee waters that are closed to shellfishing that are worth trying to open for the few days in the winter that this would apply to.
That turned out to be an awful lot of work for 2 or 3 people clamming it. We opened up Acabonic, right?
Yeah, we did the north end of Acabonic, north of the culvert, basically, back 4 or 5 years ago. It took a whole winter's worth of testing to get the information needed to determine what the rainfall level would be above which you couldn't shellfish, below which you could.
Did
And
people
nobody
use
really
it?
found anything anyway. So.
Because I was with the APC at that time and we were asking people if they were using that. And I don't think too many people replied that they did.
No, it wasn't used much. I mean,
Yeah.
we had some reports of what was found when people tried. Very much.
Yeah.
But I know there had been a set of scallops up there maybe 25 years ago or so. So we thought that might be, worthwhile to try. It turned out it was too much work to make it worth it. So that's that. And the only other thing, we got a notice from the Southold trustees setting their scallop season, which basically would start the same day as the state opening, which is the November 3rd. And our scallop season will open the following Sunday, November 9th. We always give people a chance to go out in the bay and see what's out there for a week before the town waters open. It always opens the town waters on the Sunday following the Monday of the state opening to give people who are hand harvesting a chance to get scallops before the dredging starts, which would start on Monday, because dredging's not allowed on Sunday. So that's that.
Thanks, John. Okay,
Well, I have one more thing.
go ahead.
We got one more blue-green algae reading. Jumped up a little bit, actually. This week. It's it over there on the right, so it's 445.3 micrograms per liter, and then the corresponding reading for last year was pretty close to that. So those are the outlined in red. It's current October 24th reading. Yeah, we'll look at what happened last year after that. That's probably into November, maybe even December.
Put this together with rainfall data.
No.
I thought it was temperature reliant. It doesn't behave that way.
Yeah.
No, not completely, because the blue-green algae actually a lot of times prefers cooler water temperature.
Like the grass. The grass is really green now. The lawns are green and thriving. Let's follow that pattern. Interesting.
Anybody else?
Yeah, just real quick, last Saturday, we had a beach cleanup at Georgica with friends of the Georgica Pond. John was there and I was there. I got a bunch of Surf Rider members from the East End Middle School. We collected like 50 pounds and hundreds of pieces of plastic and microplastics, and students learned about what happens when they get into our water systems. So it was an educational program, and it was a beautiful day for us.
Great.
Yeah, it was good.
And I have one quick thing. As you know, we're emptying the office for flooring to be put down, and thought maybe this would be a good opportunity to get the storage items out of the conference room and try to return it back to a real conference room. So I looked at some sheds on Sunday, and if you want to take a look at this. This is Caulfield's, yeah. So it's 8 by 12. I don't know if we really need something larger.
That'd be great.
Where would it go? Just on the front yard?
The front area is covered by a lot of historic.
I have
Convent.
I spoke to the lifeguards and
There was litigation.
waiting for Johnny Ryan to get back.
Historic
Our side yard. Do you have any idea what the side yard is?
Few of the
Can't do
steps.
it there.
Well, you might,
Because there is that
You might not want
area
to.
that's semi-cleared
I know.
to the west of the building. Ideally, if you
Well,
could
the corner, right?
Ideally, if you could put it up high, it would be easier access for us than putting it down.
Right. Right.
It probably goes, about to where the back of the boat storage goes down below.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just if we've got the setback to basically put something in there legally, that I think would be a nice, an easy spot for Arlene and Allison to get to. Because the bottom, if anybody's been down there with lifeguards use it and all, listen, they've pretty much got that area used up. It's not easy to get in and out of there.
I think the other option would be to find a corner in the paved parking lot.
Yeah, well,
Right.
but that area is, it's covered.
Well,
So anyway, this one is like $5,000, and I wasn't able to speak to anybody. They won't be anyone in the office till Wednesday about delivery fees and setup. But I'll get that information on Wednesday.
It's a good idea.
The hope is to be able to get this relatively quickly and not have to put all that stuff back in the office and
Yeah,
then
move it twice.
Well, those guys, I mean,
we have the containers till the end of the month.
hey, guys, if we want, we could make a motion right now to buy this thing. The actual place that we put it pending
Right.
things. The company that Caulfield, they'll put it really pretty much anywhere we need it. They can get it in there. And they're pretty good at turning if you buy it, they'll look to deliver it as soon as they can, so.
Have you had experience with these sheds?
Yeah.
What's on the bottom? I mean, can they?
There's a couple, no, you know what it is? There's usually a couple 4x4, 6x6 sleepers on the bottom. Usually what you do is you'll take and level the area out, maybe put some gravel down, put a couple of 6x6 sleepers that are perpendicular to whatever the framing is on the bottom of that, so that the whole shed ends up resting up a little bit. You don't want this thing resting so tight to the ground, it'll rot out in no time.
I don't know if I should say this in public. Down below is one thing. It seems as though things appear there with, just whatever they're needed. Would it be that easy if we did it up above?
Is,
Just put it there.
We are
isn't there
it would be
some sort of
easy, John,
historical strip up
except,
there?
I think it's a good idea for us to follow the rules here. If we don't make setbacks there, my suggestion is that we find a place that it's compliant.
Bill, what will you?
I've heard that there was some sort of historic district down there involving Bluff Road and the
There
houses
is.
across
There
the
is.
street, and
Yep.
that you needed permission before it had to be approved by them before you could throw anything in front of the building or beside the building.
Architectural Review Board does historic district stuff.
Yeah, and
I'm not
that,
certain if it's on the, it probably is, but I'm not
It is.
100% sure it's on the south side.
it is, because I've gone through a couple permits down there. Yes, it very much is.
Well, that seems to negate the quickness aspect.
Well,
Above, maybe.
up above doesn't make it terrible if we put it down off the paved parking lot. We can look down there and see what spot might make good sense.
And is acceptable to the lifeguards.
We
I'm
can
sure
work,
we can work that
something
out.
out with them.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, they're pretty,
And if we could find out what's involved with moving it higher, the shed's easy to move, I guess, huh?
they can, you know what it is? If you tell them where you want it, they'll put it, the day they deliver it, they'll pretty much put it wherever you want it.
What do they place it with?
They got, you know what they've got? They got a little, I want to call it like a forklift. That it's a little, almost like a lawnmower engine on it. It's not very big.
It's on remote, you can control
Yeah,
it.
and they can move the thing around, and when they can't get it right in, they bring some PVC pipe and they put it down and they'll roll it. It's not,
You talk about between the land building and Bluff Road?
between the land building and our west property line.
Okay, to the west of the land building then.
Yeah.
Or kind of off in front, northwest
Is
corner.
it clear on that side? I can't
It's
remember.
kind of cleared out. You know, I don't know whether it's cleared out or some stuff died there. There's kind of a void when you look at the building there.
All right, anybody else? Motion?
Well, we have bills to pay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, but we do this before we pay bills.
So this motion. I made a motion to close. I'll make a motion, we authorize purchase of a shed up to what? We should make more than.
$6,000.
What if we want something bigger, 10 by 15 or something like that?
Yeah.
Would that be 6?
This is 8 by 12.
8 by 12.
8, up to 8.
That sounds like it'll be big enough.
How about making it 10
Yeah.
and you don't have to use it all? You want to get a larger size installation
I think
and
we're getting to the fucking point where we're gonna need site plan approval on this thing.
If it gets too big, then you definitely need it.
Foundation.
I agree with
trees.
Patrice, sorry.
10,000?
No worries.
10,000 with a cap of 10,000.
Yeah, cap.
This gives Francis some latitude.
Second.
We can get some flower boxes on it.
They sell them with the flower box.
Yeah, I know. That's
Yeah, I know.
why I like this one. It
They're
doesn't
pretty-
have it.
They're pretty cheap.
And a little stepping stone pad.
Yeah.
We can get somebody to paint,
Well, we would
Paint
probably want
bricks
a
on it.
ramp.
say it's part of the historic building.
So there was a motion.
I'll make second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, payment of the bills. We have the East Hampton Marina, $128.30 for fuel. Montauk Anglers Club, $1,664.27, winterizing the Montauk boat.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. I'm sorry?
Jim?
Okay. Motion to close?
Make a motion to close.
Favor?
In favor.